That's what I learned. That tends to happen sometimes, yeah. I think there's just like a massive disconnect because I don't like those kinds of people because I find that they're incredibly illogical. Girl, for some people the concept of one is really tricky. It actually is a very good metaphor. They're like, I'm really upset that you said 1 + 1 is 2 because 1 + 1 is 3. And then you're like, but it's 2. You're hurting my feelings. Oh. Go fuck yourself. That's how it goes. I think most people wouldn't say the go fuck yourself part. Is the bitches on my necklace guy? Is it the One Piece pacing thing? Was this on stream? No, it's just an observation. But then I also know that I have this like very strange social upbringing and development that I had throughout my life that probably makes me not exactly a conventional person. Were they upset because I pointed out they were wrong or because I called them a fucking idiot? It's a bit more complicated than that. But I have to speak very vaguely. Because people are very sensitive. Which, again, is like a direct contrast to how I am as a person. Yeah, very homeschool energy. But it's like a direct contrast to how I am. Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to vaguely talk about it. Because last time I wasn't like super vague about something, the person that someone like found out that I made fun of them and then they're like, okay, and then they were like, you talked about this on stream to your thousands of viewers. So I was like, oh, you emphasize that thousands of my viewers know who I was talking about when I talked about this incident? Hey, by the way, no one cares. And no one actually knows who you are, so I don't think you should worry about that. Then they said, actually, that's not what I'm worried about. I don't care about public perception. I'm like, well, then if you don't care, then why did you mention like the thousands of viewer thing? I try to like comfort them, and then they're like, actually, that's not the point. And then I was like, now I don't know what you want. Maybe I have like some kind of strange neurodivergence in that. Sounds like making a problem out of nothing to you. Well, I think what the issue was is that they were humiliated, but they didn't want to admit it. So they said it was because of something else that they're upset about. I wanted to do a circle thing. Maybe like... Was it Hune that got upset because her pussy stank? Yeah. I gotta read Apothecary Diaries. Yeah, 2 of my friends said on separate occasions that I reminded them of the main character there. Being shit-talked in front of 1,000 people is worse than being shit-talked in front of 1 person. Yes, but however, the context of this situation, and the reason why I'm thinking about it is like, I'll tell you later, but like, nobody knew who I was talking about, except like maybe at most 10 people. If 10 strangers on the internet know this very specific, vague, detailed story where you felt humiliated for it and you were like saying that you're upset because thousands of people found out, what are you really upset about? So then I was like, I mean, like, you don't, I was trying to be like, hey, you don't have to worry, by the way, like, no one cares. Being blunt is an autistic trait. I mean, I grew up socially awkward as fuck, so I probably miss a lot of social cues. Oops. But yeah, my point is there's a lot of people that kind of get really, really upset if you say something to them that is very straight to the point, blunt, because you didn't say 5 nice things before it. And I think I call that, in terms of gaming reviews, I call that opinion permanence. If you had a criticism about the game, you can't just say, I wish the combat was smoother. You have to say 5 nice things before you say, I wish the combat was smoother. And I realize that there's a lot of people like that in real life, where if you don't do that 5 nice things before you say the thing that you want to say, they get really upset. Yeah, the social dance. I think that's why the people that I get along with the most are the people that are not afraid of me. And I think I talked about this before, where I kind of have an ick towards people that find me intimidating, because why do you care so much about what I think about you? Who cares? I don't care what you think. That's how I see it. Thanks, Mantra Bro. How's it friend maxing going? It's going great. I like my friends. Yeah, I think people who are too worried about what other people think, and I'm not even talking about like audience wise because of the nature of the work that we're in, but like if you're so terrified of what peers think of you, like why? I understand that there's a universal like common sense desire and wanting to be liked, but I find that people often overcompensate for that. Did I have fun with Muay Thai? I did, but the cardio was really tiring. I'm gonna go rock climbing again next week. I have to keep vague posting. I think if anybody that knows me watching this knows what I'm talking about, it's probably like so funny to them. And I'm like laughing thinking about it, which is probably also like very psychotic of me. But someone said something, and then I was like, oh, okay. By the way, I don't care. But like, let me preface this by saying that I guarantee you, me telling them that I didn't care was supposed to be good for them. It's really hard to vaguely talk about this without giving any detail, and you're just gonna have to trust my word for this. But then turns out that like it was like the worst thing that they ever read. And I was like, oh, I thought I was genuinely helping. Eh. Which brings me to the thing is like, I don't like doing the, oh, I have to say 5 nice things before I say what I really want to say, because I don't really give a shit when it comes to people that I don't need to give a shit about. The social, yeah, it's the social dance. Everybody dances the exact same way until you're someone that is very neurodivergent. And you're stepping on toes. But then another thing I realize is that the downside of my attitude to everything being so logical and very unemotionally charged is that I genuinely do not care. A lot of the attitudes that people have towards me and that I have towards them is pure indifference. It's like pure indifference. And then I realized that on the other end of it, for people that are very emotional, even just like not being waved at or not being like said hi to, or like someone talked at you wrong, they think about it for the rest of the week. I look different? Oh, it's because I like wearing no makeup for some streams, so it makes sure like some creepy ass fucking scary creepy men get out of here. And then when I yassify myself, it's because I want to look nice for the girls and the gays. Beyond common courtesy, some expect others to capitulate and cater to their ego. I agree to some extent. However, because that threshold is so arbitrarily defined that you can never tell if someone is just like for me, for example, like let's say I had an issue with someone and I just said, hey, I don't like this that happened because this, and I hope you know that the context this. And let's just say this is somebody that I didn't really know. So you could say that they didn't like me because I wasn't polite or courteous enough, which is why I said that you have to say 5 nice things before you say that. But then for me, I'm like, I don't really know you. I don't know why I have to do all that just to get to the point. Why do you expect me to go out of my way to make sure your fifis aren't hurt? Why are you so sensitive? Why can't we just like go straight to solving the issue? You know? Thanks, Mez Maddie. I think that's just pure subjectivity. I think's Angry Bullet. A lot of people let their emotions get in the way of like figuring out what the issue is, because I literally had a dealing with someone where they're like, this situation made me feel this way. And then I was like, hey, by the way, did you know that 1 + 1 is 2? If you like looked at it, like if you put 2 fingers together, it's 2, and just look at it. And they're like, no. I'm like, you could just look at it. 1 + 1 is 2. No. I felt this way and I'm valid for feeling this way. And then I'm like, but the reason you're feeling this way is because you thought 1 + 1 was 3. And I'm telling you it's not 3, it's 2. Just look at, no. So then this is where I'd be like, are you stupid? And then they get upset because I called them stupid. I think some people just like they need that like opinion permanence. Cause you're the anxious person, you find it so much better if someone just tells me they had a problem. Yeah, the people that I surrounded myself with, or like I would say a number of them were like, I like how direct you are. And then I found out that some people are like, if you're not super direct, you have to do the whole song and dance and performance. Like, I understand that this and this, it's totally okay. I know what you're going through, and I know that your pussy's pH balance is unbalanced. I understand that you're going through a breakup, but Brenda, your pussy really stinks. But then, you know, if I'm just like, because the person I am, I'm just like, hey, by the way, I don't like that your pussy really stinks. Could you do something about it? And this is somebody that I don't know. And I feel like, in my opinion, I think that's fair to say. Maybe it's this kind of like American culture or something. I don't know. human culture to have to do the whole social dance. How likely would it be run into someone who's truly indifferent versus someone who's rash and rude? For me, is knowing when to dish out this indifference. Like if Hyun had a stinky pussy, I would be like, hey, by the way, I know that there's like some hygiene issues that's going on, but I just like want to tell you as a friend that your pussy stinks. But then if it's somebody that I don't know and I notice that their stanky pussy keeps wafting in the air, then there's nothing I can do about it, and I don't really know them, I would just be like, by the way, your pussy stinks. Hey, there's like a smell. Can you... I hope you can figure it out. I don't know why. I don't know why your pussy smells. Do you still prefer being direct like that when somebody's loved ones died? That's a different situation. The problem about hypotheticals and when people bring up hypotheticals is I find that a lot of people, instead of bringing up a hypothetical that is like related to the context at hand, they bring up a hypothetical that's like somewhat in parallel but doesn't actually necessarily apply. Because this is about conflict resolution between people, not consoling a friend. That's different. And you also don't talk to, like, it just doesn't, it's not the same. Thanks, pure gold. I feel like since they don't know me, they don't know if my indifference is true indifference versus Becky being a bitch. Yeah, I think so too. But then, if they had no other reason to think that I was like plotting something behind, I mean, like when I have something to say to somebody, I literally tell them why I'm telling them this. And for some reason, like sometimes they don't believe it, and I'm like, okay, I don't fucking know what kind of people you're talking to that just like mislead you all the time, or like why you're so on edge. Because usually I'm like, if I see things that like if I see receipts, facts, and I gather a lot of information, I come to a conclusion using and processing all that information. But some people, you know, that like to say 1 + 1 is 3, I show them, hey, 1 + 1 is 2. They do that. They do this. Yeah, but like it could still be 3. It could still be 3. It could be 3. Then they're dunces. I mean, that's where I'm kind of a bitch. Where I'm like, oh, you're a little dumb. And then they get upset. Then I'm like, okay, that's fair that you feel upset that I called you dumb. I mean, this literally happens in chat when someone's like, I don't like this game, and I'm like, can you tell me why? And they're like, it's bad. Oh, why is it bad? I don't like it. Why do you not like it? It's bad. And I'm like, are you stupid? And they're like, oh my god, going straight for the ad hominem. This is why, like, nobody likes you, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, but you are dumb. You couldn't even articulate something. If I can poke holes in the things that you're saying that easily, your argument's not very good. Is this a person I'm beating for the first time? Oh, the chatter? I don't fucking know him. It's like when I gagged that one chatter after Super finished The Last of Us 2. Yeah, because they didn't want to admit that their feelings were hurt. So they like kind of talk around the issue, and then their arguments start to get weaker and weaker. And then that makes it so much easier to poke even more holes. That's just how I see it, I think. I mean, that's also how I feel, but I think, like, it's always better to say 5 nice things before saying the actual thing that you want to say. Yeah, you have to talk to people with a Twitter accent because it's generally, like, better to do that. Because a lot of people are really obsessed and paranoid and anxious about what other people think about them. Not every situation demands poking a hole into the argument. Yeah, cool, and sometimes you don't need to water the grass. Great. Cool. So sometimes water is clear and sometimes it's not, yeah. It's almost like it depends. What? No way. You would get fired too fast. Well, corporate speak, I think it's just because you're in such a strange environment, it's probably actually easier to be in a corporate setting and to talk like that. Yeah, I think a lot of, I think it's like the people that are on the opposite end of the spectrum of like being emotional versus being logical. The people that are emotional literally don't understand that somebody like me could just like not actually give a shit at all. Bought a box of white flare, got 5 full arts. Yeah, white flare is really good. White flare and black bolt has nice art. I absolutely do think and know that I'm an asshole though. Which is why I find like people that gravitate towards that like just so fascinating. And I think people are giga chads. In a way I also like I find it so I like really respect it. Like, you know, I'm an asshole and I'm very direct, and that if I have an issue with you, I would just like say it to you and you're not scared of that. Wow, you're probably someone who's just like me. You don't give a hoot. We'd be good friends. If we have an issue, we would just talk about it. Easily solved. Being blunt on beating around the bush. No, some people need like a certain of not like necessarily beating around the bush, but they need like trimming the bush. So if, you know, if Becky's pussy really stinks, she doesn't like it if you tell her her pussy stinks. You have to give her 5 sentences of, understand that you have issues with hygiene, understand that you had a traumatic experience with washing growing up, understand that like soap is not something that you're used to, but Becky, your pussy stinks. You know what I mean? Some people need that. And they get very, very sad if you don't do that. Balance your pH, bitch! But I think where you would have wisdom in, if you are a person like me who's like purely very, very logical, is knowing when to utilize that, and I would save that attitude and care for people that I actually really care and like, care about and like. So that being said, like if someone talks to me very directly, I don't find it offensive at all. Plus poison damage. I think if everybody wasn't a pussy, the world would be easier to navigate. I think that's my fatal flaw. That's my fatal flaw and blind spot. Why do you keep insisting 1 + 1 is 3? Thanks, JK Young. Where's my piano? I haven't unpacked it yet because I've barely been home. I've only been home like maybe one night. Your entire family can't admit they're wrong. They get so worked out if you point out they're wrong. Yeah, because they don't care about whether or not they're right or wrong, but rather what they're feeling is valid. And if you don't acknowledge what they're feeling, they get very upset. And then this results in them like either lashing out or doubling down on whatever thing that it is that it gets wrong. So it's like, imagine if someone's upset because 1 + 1 is 3, and you're like, you shouldn't be upset, 1 + 1 is 2. And they're like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that to me. Let me be upset, you know? Or they'll just like, yeah, I don't know. I just don't. People are so fascinating. I mean, I think I truly am kind of an alien. That's okay. Yeah, I had someone go like, wow, you really are kind of like a robot. And I was like, yeah, but I'm also just like, I'm also smart enough to know when and where to turn it off. Is it massing? No, because using the specific example of the being like very blunt to people is If Hyun had a stinky pussy and it smells like shit, I would not be like, Hyun, your pussy is stinky and smells like shit. I would tell her in a very nice way because I like and care about her as a person and really consider her feelings. However, I don't extend that courtesy to people that I barely know, which like can be a flaw because it's not necessarily that I'm being like overly rude or blunt about something. Because like being blunt equals rude is how some people subjectively will think about it. But then to me, being blunt and straightforward to somebody that I don't know isn't rude. I'm like, don't you want me to be direct so we can just get straight to the point? So this is just like ultimately a personality difference. But then because I so firmly believe that if I show you that 1 + 1 is 2, but you keep insisting that 1 + 1 is 3, well, I just think you're a fucking moron. Like, she knows I'm saying a kind of word the stranger doesn't. Yeah, but then for strangers, it's like, if it's somebody that I've barely ever interacted with, I don't really care about how they... I don't really care how they might perceive it, and I feel like if they perceive it in the worst way possible, is that not kind of on them? I think it also depends, because somebody might really appreciate just me being straightforward about it. Somebody else might not. You were rude to a coworker when he first started accidentally and he hated you for 4 years. See? To me, that's like, that's his problem. Like, 1, why didn't he just talk to you? 2, if it bothered him so much, he could have just said something. 3, he let it fester. That's weird. Like, what the fuck? If you're blunt to someone insecure, that's how I feel. Okay, so I also, because this is, you can't really prove if someone that you don't know is insecure, but that's another thing that I think is, I generalize people who are terrified and like easily intimidated by people like me because they're worried about what someone like me who doesn't even know them might think of them. I think that's insecurity and wanting to be a people pleaser, and I don't like people that are insecure and really care that much about what other people think to the point that they're kind of like over analyzing things that they don't need to analyze, to the point where I'm like, this insecurity and like wanting to be liked by people was very pussy. Thanks, lettuce spam. Thanks, Terobial. Insecurity isn't usually their own fault. Yeah, I don't really care about that. Like, I don't care where this insecurity comes from, but I don't like insecure people. Because they usually make it everyone else's problem. Let me clean up these lines. My best advice is don't be friends with insecure people. If you're insecure, sorry, get fucked. Or like, Don't be friends with people who have insecurities that project outwards. And by that, I mean, like, you know, they always talk about how they're ugly and they make it a point and they're always like, oh my god, I wish I was as pretty as her. Oh my god, I wish I was this and that. Oh my god, I will never be this good or whatever. Like, and then other times is the more insidious versions is when they start like putting down other people for no reason because you know it comes from a place of envy, so it starts getting like really fucking rancid. Stay the fuck away from those people. Like, yeah, girl, be cool with yourself. Damn. Chill. Yeah, being insecure is not bad, but it's when it projects outward that it gets really bad. No, exactly. It's worth out to whip out the daph indifference. It's high elo. Yeah, it's very high elo social dancing. And I think insecure people often like hanging out with each other because I think it makes sense. Thanks, Mishima. Yeah, they can like spiral together. Some people use their insecurity and their advantage to the point I don't know how to order a taxi. Yeah. Maybe I don't know. I know for me specifically, I just think of things. I mean, I know that I am very unconventional in how I think. But I found even the fact that I'm thinking about it in this way just kind of proves that I'm a little bit of a robot. Is like, is it better to be super emotional or better to be super logical? Because there are people on both ends of, like, both far ends of the spectrum, and I do find it far better to be very logical because plus the additional wisdom, then you know when you shouldn't be. But then when you're super emotional and you're being told and shown that 1 + 1 is 2 and not 3, you're not gonna let that go. You're gonna keep insisting 1 + 1 is 3, but at least the person that's logical can like be like, yeah, 1 + 1 is 2. So yeah, but then the extremity is like, if you're super logical, you're gonna find it harder to get along with people. However, if you do, however, if you can get along with people, but you can't necessarily get along with everyone, then is it still a problem? That's subjective, because then it's gonna be up to you. How many more people do you want to get along with? Do you want to get along with everybody, or do you want to just get along with people that you know are like-minded and can communicate in a similar attitude and manner? What are the logic people basing their assumption on? What logic? Well, for example, if somebody was like, why did you ask Becky why her pussy stinks? Don't you know that she was born with a congenital condition where her pussy just always smells? And then you're like, oh, I didn't know that she had a condition. I just wanted to like tell her, hey, I think your pussy has like a smell. And then you tell them, hey, you didn't know. And they're like, still upset at you for it, basically. You want to be stressed? Oh, I'm not stressing. I think, like, why people think the way they do is very interesting. And I love dissecting the brain. Why tell them their pussy stinks if you won't see them again? Well, then now it's just, that's a different, like, it's like we have to assume for the sake of this hypothetical you're gonna see them again. I feel like it's not that complicated to talk and discuss like adults, but then the complication is the subjectivity in which like having an indifferent attitude creates tension because other people expected you to say 5 nice things before saying what you wanted to say. But then you're like, I don't really feel the need to do that. But then is it still overall better to do the whole comfort permanence? Yeah, you have to do some ass kissing basically. And I don't like ass kissing because I don't see the point. Like, no shit, you're gonna like ass kiss your CEO. A shit sandwich? Yeah, you gotta give them a shit sandwich. That's a complicated high elo social dance. Sometimes counterproductive too, because what you're saying is gonna hurt them, so might as well be clear. Thanks, Hadayan. Yeah, but you can never tell, like you might think what you're saying is right, but then it actually even though it completely logically makes sense, ends up like destroying the other person. Even though you're like, your logic is flawless. Because people be complicated like that. But then I also find that, like, not that we're trying to, you know, it's not that it's like a winning race of like which one's more right or wrong, but I have found that another like very nice consistency that I appreciate in people that tend to be more logical is they don't like hold on to inconsistent cognitive bias morals. So like if you told somebody who was a very logical person like, hey, your friend's a pedophile, here's proof, they would be like, oh my god, yeah, this guy's a pedophile, like I don't fuck with them. But then if you told somebody who was like very emotional and very loyal to this pedophile friend, hey, your friend's a pedophile, they'd be like, well, technically they're not a pedophile, they're a hebephile. You know, because they're emotionally attached and invested in this friend, and they're more focused on how they feel about this friend who has never actually done them any wrong. So I feel like for me, like that is a pro for being very logical, is like if I get presented with information, I will reassess. But some people, even presented with proof that 1 + 1 is 2 and not 3, they will still insist it's 3. Thanks, Isaac _ Hebephile? A hebephile is someone that's like attracted to prepubescent age groups. But I also remember there was like this thing that this other student at university told me. He says like humans think that they're logical machines with emotions, but we're actually emotional machines that try to use logic. And I was like, he's so right. Which is why I am very neurodivergent. Because I genuinely don't get why some people are such pussies. Like it makes no sense to me. 1 + 1 is 2, you stupid fuck! Why are you upset about 1 + 1 = 3? I'm showing you it's 2. Why are you mad at me for telling you that? Like I don't get it. But you know what the beauty in that is, and this might like just make you ponder a little bit, but this like this attachment to emotion and this like gravitation to making illogical decisions and to making choices in life based off of emotion is what makes people more meaningful than anything that AI could ever make. Because machines are extremely predictable, but when people are illogical, it makes them less predictable. And when you have that kind of abstraction in any kind of creation in media, TV shows, art, and you have that kind of like unpredictability, that's where art comes from. Because AI can never work with that kind of unpredictability. Because AI and machine language learning models all have very fixed, predictable results. And that's what makes human work so much more unique. Because you can give two people the exact same thing and they would have very different experiences of what they puke out on the canvas. So that's the irony, isn't it? Where does the "I'm purely logical" men fit in the scale? That's a different flavor of logical that's primarily used to discredit so they have an excuse to be an ass. It depends, because you ever heard of the saying like... You ever, like, you definitely have met people that are like, I'm brutally honest. But then people that say that tend to be more fixated on the brutal part than the honest part. Which gets people like me in a lot of shit, because I'm also very honest, but I don't try to be brutal. I do accidentally become brutal sometimes because I am so honest and direct. But then the problem with these people is that they think that they are honest, but they are brutal. But how you are actually supposed to be as somebody who is like, I would assume that has the same traits as me, where they're like, well, very logical, less emotional, tend to be straight to the point. They think that they are just working off of logic, and they have like no capacity to consider this kind of emotional nuance that the other person might have. However, I can consider it, but I choose not to for people that I don't know, because one, I think it's better to get straight to the point, and two, if I do find that I do need like extra consolation and like to give a shit sandwich before I tell somebody their pussy stinks, I know how. Yeah, so people that say like I'm brutally honest, that's a red flag in its own. Because they don't know the nuance. Emotional people have more empathy and compassion than logical people? Generally, yeah, probably. But that also doesn't mean that, like, again, it's, you can't consider, like, when you actually, well, when you discuss this stuff, like, theoretically, yeah, because we have to assume that it's, like, these extremes so that we can consider these extreme situations where how this person would act in this situation, this person would act in this situation, but, like, in the real world, all emotional people have some level of logic to them, and like all logical people have some empathy in them, and then it varies for everybody. Because I can give you like a pretty specific example of someone who's like, sorry, I'm brutally honest, versus someone who's like actually just honest and direct, but gets interpreted as being rude. So, for example, if somebody said that they really liked Van Cleef's, and they're like, they really like the Van Cleef and Arpels jewelry, and they gushed about how their fiance got them a nice necklace and ring. If I'm somebody who was dense enough to say, I'm a brutally honest person, I'd be like, I fucking hate Van Cleef and Arpels. You like that? It's so ugly. Sorry, I'm just brutally honest. Whereas somebody who is actually like just a little blunt but emotionally smart would not say that. So that the threshold is the threshold of like emotional intelligence of this person who is blunt. It's like you have the dumb, and then you have the smart and of emotional intelligence. The people that are down here are the brutally honest people. Because they're more concerned with being brutal. Yeah, or like if you were a better example, would be like, oh yeah, that's not really my thing, but that's cool. It looks nice, you know. Or you probably don't even have to say that it's not your thing. Yeah, they want to pick on people, then moralize it. Exactly. But there's a difference between someone who, like, communicates in a blunt manner when it comes to any kind of conflict resolution and, like, is very direct and straight to the point versus someone who's, like, deliberately trying to be malicious. And then, people who do not know how to deal with these kinds of people tend to conflate the two. You supporting your friend's style than them shitting on yours? You have some shitty friends. Yeah, I think you have some shitty friends. I've categorized emotion as something that misleads the equation around and a part of this kind of disconnect. No, you misunderstood what I'm saying. Specifically for the hypothetical and example that I brought up, you really want to argue about this? Come on. I am using a very simple example that we can all agree on and find a common ground to find a foundation for setting up this thought exercise, and now you're poking at the thought exercise, which completely ruins the whole point of it in trying to sound smart. Please. Yeah, you're trying to like overanalyze it, completely missing the point. And this is the part where I'm being an asshole, and I would say you're a fucking idiot. Am I doing exactly what you're saying not to do though? I have two questions for you. What am I doing? Two, what did I say not to do? I need you to answer these questions before I answer yours. I mean, if you thought you understood the topic enough, shouldn't you be pretty quick at typing that and articulating it? Is going through a tunnel? Okay. Like small alcove. I haven't unpacked my piano yet because I haven't been home. It's a electric piano. I guess that guy just couldn't answer. Did they just disappear? I feel like I asked a very fair question. Because I needed to know how they identified it, and then so I can answer with what they thought those meant. Otherwise, I could be misinterpreting their definition of the two subjects. I feel like that was a fair question. Maybe they're still typing it. I don't know. It's definitely past the expected amount of time. You're busy arguing with Grok to get to the bottom of it? Yeah. Okay, I have to actually lock in this week. If the point some people will refuse or change their opinion because their emotion or ego doesn't allow them to consider the point you're saying, then I believe your criticism is valid because it was not your intention to poke a hole that hypothetical, but point out that maybe what you believe is illogical or true that may not be that solid. What? Oh, you're a different guy. You're somebody else. That's a different person. You're the base 2 guy? Yeah, but why? But we're talking about like the hypothetical in which if somebody is upset that 1 + 1 = 3 and you tell them that 1 + 1 = 2 and they're upset, they don't need to be upset. But then now you're changing the prompt like, well, what if 1 + 1 actually isn't 2 with base 2? I'm like, well, that's a different conversation. Because now we're talking about the subjective perception of whatever the context is at hand. So you're talking about something else, but that you think that it's related to what I'm talking about. You're basically doing like a slightly different version of I said I was talking about pancakes and you're like, but what about waffles? And I'm like, well, you know, that's still breakfast food, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. Yeah, we're having the truth be a constant in this equation, but you're changing the constant and therefore changing the thought experiment. Which I get your point, by the way. But that's just, like, not what we're talking about. That's just an analogy how show emotion could affect why some people... I already explained that too, though. I literally did explain that. I was like, some people are more fixated on their emotion, which makes them disregard the truth because they're more fixated on their emotion feeling was valid. I already mentioned that. Yes, you understand, but you're saying that fixating on logic could blind you to how emotion could affect the truth. Yeah, I already said that. Wait. No, I actually- wait, you're saying- what? You're saying that fixating on logic could blind you to how emotion can affect the truth? What the fuck are you saying? Hold on. I thought you said the other way around. That emotion could blind you to how it affects the truth. So now you're saying, like... I don't know. I genuinely think you're just, like, talking about something else. Like, wait, the constant is that the let statement in this thought exercise is that the truth is the truth. You're changing the constant and talking about something else as a result. Do you understand that or not? He's saying that- no, he's not saying that. He's trying to, like, come up with a different hypothetical. And going like, well, consider this. But it's like, but we're not talking about that right now. You are saying that though? That's what the I think you're just talking about something else. You're talking about something else. Like I'm saying, hey, in this specific case, let's consider that we like waffles. And then you're like, well, what if we like pancakes instead? And I'm like, well, that's a different conversation. Maybe they don't agree. It's a relevant hypothetical to it. If I said, shout out women's mental health, do you think it's valid to be like, what about men's mental health? Which is a really good example, because it's like... It depends, because what if we're just talking about women's mental health right now? But then it's like, it's adjacent, yeah. I don't think he understands. No, I don't think he understands why I was like, okay, anyways, because that's just not what we were discussing. But I think what they really wanted to do was they just wanted to say their piece. So I was like, okay. They missed the question. Oh my god, that's you know how like 90% of the time that happens, where someone says something in chat, I call them out for it and kind of grill them, and they say I wasn't there. What did you say? They just like leave. This happens so often. This guy said, aren't you doing exactly what you're saying not to do though at 39 daph? So I immediately said, can you describe what am I doing? And 2, what did I say not to do? They immediately don't respond and then later come back and say, I wasn't here. Oh, there was an ad playing. Was she asking? Because they can't answer it. This happens a lot. You can answer, then answer it. You said, aren't you doing exactly what you're saying not to do? So 1, what am I doing? And 2, what did I say not to do? I'll wait. But I mean, the other person's point, we can also talk about that too. The guy that was like coming up with a different hypothetical is like, I mean, the whole like base 2 thing. Yeah, people's emotions can affect what they think is the truth, which is why it complicates a lot of social dynamics. Is the other person who's being more emotional, they're not necessarily lying. Let me reread it. Yeah, so basically, like, some people will not, like, let's say somebody tells you 1 + 1 is 3. They don't even necessarily think that they're lying, but because for whatever context, but like genuinely believe that 1 + 1 is 3. And then when you tell them, hey, 1 + 1 is actually 2, and you show them proof that 1 + 1 is 2, it's hard to convince somebody who's like very kind of loyal to that original opinion, because it's hard to change someone's mind. Isn't that ignorant? It can be, but it's like if you're surrounded by like 10 people that told you 1 + 1 is 3. Especially if they're attached, yeah. But I think in this case, 1 + 1 = 3. From what you understood, I was saying being blunt is okay, but being brutally honest is dumb since they are doing it to be mean, but I felt like bluntness is masked in truth but used as a weapon when responding. You felt like bluntness is masked in truth but used as a weapon when responding. To what? Are you saying to chat? Are you saying when I was like, wait, I'm gonna be brutal here, and I called you or somebody in chat a fucking idiot, and you thought that was like a gotcha because I did the thing? Yes, to chat? Okay, I'm gonna blow your fucking mind. Is that me talking about general social dynamics that you have to consider navigating carefully, or for interpersonal relationships that you have with family and friends and strangers that you might come across, and mutual friends and colleagues? Not the same situation as when I call somebody in chat a stupid fuck. Did you seriously think that I looked at chat the same way I look at an average person that I would actually have an in-person, face-to-face conversation with? You think I talk to people in chat the way I talk to people, like, in person? And you thought that was a gotcha? I do not see any of you as real people. None of you are real. You are all text on a screen. I do not give a single fuck about any of you. You are all just text on a screen. I will not treat you like a real human being. If I'm talking about the complications of a social dynamic and the social dance that you have to do with people, I am not talking about how you should talk to an anonymous internet chat room. I'm talking about how you should talk with your friends, with your family, with people that might be your friends, with friends of friends, colleagues, acquaintances. That's fine, but don't act surprised when we act the same way to streamers. What is this, like, I'm not fired, I quit ass attitude? You think I give a fuck? Don't act surprised when we, the chat, by the way, act the same way to, you streamers. Just saying. You better watch out, streamers. It's me. Chat room. Damn, I don't even know how what you're doing here. Shouldn't you be watching some, like, OTV stream or something? We made you! Yeah, go, I don't know, go watch a cozy stream. The only dynamic I ever want with my chat is funny. I talk about shit, you guys talk about shit, neither of us really give a shit about who the other person is on the other end of the screen. That's kind of it. Don't act surprised when we chatters see you streamers the same way. Just saying. You better watch out. That's a Hall of Fame. That's a Hall of Fame quote. That's gotta go in the Hall of Fame quote. I wonder if that's it. That's got to be the same attitude as the guy that unironically posted on the Super TF subreddit that was like, how come this guy is so ungrateful? I have watched him for a long time and he never thanked us for getting 700k subs on YouTube. He also has a lot of viewers on Twitch, but he never thanks us and he's never like grateful for it. Why is he so ungrateful? He should like do something to thank his community because people like me made it happen. Nah. Did somebody type that? Yeah. It turned into a pasta. Your first interaction with I called you a bitch about an art question. Yeah, and I'm gonna call you a bitch again. Fuck you. Any other things you want to bitch about because you're a little bitch? I mean, I remember there was this one guy that came in here that asked a really fucking stupid question. I was like, that was a really stupid question, fuck you. And then they were like, I didn't know you were such an asshole, unfollowed. And I laughed. I remember that to this day. It was so fucking funny. Because I don't know how you can watch this stream for like, even for like not even 5 minutes and not realize like, hey, I don't think this person's nice. Like, this is not a cozy, comfortable stream. You should feel on edge if you're someone that wants to look for a more intimate relation with the streamer, the broadcaster, because you want to have multiple one-on-one conversations about how they really care about your life. Because if you're looking for that, I think you should go to a smaller stream. And don't say that I, don't help out smaller streamers, because I do this all the time. I like to refer these people to smaller streamers so that they can harass them instead, because they get, like, it's a win-win situation. They get chat interaction, they get plus viewership, and unfortunately these people will be probably really weird, but if you are looking for that kind of chat interaction and a more interpersonal streamer dynamic, you should go talk to a small stream, because they can't even afford to ignore you because their chat moves so slow that they have to read what you're saying. So you should tell them everything about your day, and they will respond. Thanks, Toothhead. That's why I always vouch for supporting smaller streamers. If you want chat interaction with the streamer, go to a smaller stream. But to be fair, it's not like I don't think they think it's harassment. Like I think they would appreciate chat interaction. And then you know what's really good about these kinds of, like, if you're just like really craving streamer interaction in smaller chats, is if you notice that maybe they stop responding to your messages but you're still typing actively, you can literally just type in their chat, "Hey, why are you ignoring me?" And you can see their eyes literally glancing to their chat, and you know they read it. Then you can press it even more. Be like, "Stop ignoring me. What did I say?" Unethical life pro tips. You think I am brutally honest, not blunt? So you think that I am brutally honest with my interpersonal relationship and close friends because I made fun of people who are brutally honest and talked about the spectrum of bluntness and being brutally honest? You do seem like a stupid fuck. I also think you're a pedophile. Can you prove that you're not? Probably not. The difference is that if you don't like something I say, you can ban me for it. I don't know what the difference, like what difference you're talking about. I don't ban people for being stupid. I ban them for being annoying and riling up chat. But I do want to address, like, what you're saying is you think that I am the person that categorized the people. Like, I gave very specific examples too. I for the context, this is what it was. Is like somebody who is indifferent, who's like a generally indifferent logical person. There is a spectrum of like intelligence, I would say, or like wisdom, where at the bottom of it, this is dumb, is somebody who is like brutally honest. Somebody who likes like calling themselves brutally honest. And then at the top here is someone who's just like blunt. Someone who's like smarter in some way. And then I said specifically, people that say, "Hey, sorry, I'm like just a brutally honest person." I gave a very specific example about the Van Cleef and Arpels thing. And then this person thought it was like a gotcha to be like, "Well, aren't you the person that says they're brutally honest?" And I was like, "Why?" Because I said, "Hey, I'm gonna be brutally honest and call this person in chat a dumb fuck." Even though I had given two specific examples on opposite ends of that spectrum, where it's a delicate interpersonal relationship, and I find that the environment that I'm talking to chat is completely separate from this. Because, for a very simple reason, how I talk on stream and how I act on stream is not the same as how I am to my friends. And you thought that was a gotcha, but it's not. Because you understood it. Yeah, telling a chatter is a dumb fuck's not a social interaction. I agree, it's a streamer interaction. And they seem to think that they seem to conflate the two, because I don't even think they understood me explaining that. Which is why they think it was a gotcha moment. Because they didn't understand that the social dynamic is different from a streamer and chat dynamic. Which is because they're dumb. I think if you're even like making the mistake of thinking that anything a streamer talks about and discusses in terms of social dynamics, and you think it applies to a streamer chat dynamic, you might be like fucked in the head. It's not a gotcha, it's just how you're feeling. Oh god, that's even worse. So you just admitted to that. Oh, you just admitted to that you like think of streamer dynamics as social dynamics. Oh, that's fucking nasty. Hey, go to another smaller stream and show them your support. That's not what you were saying. Oh, you're slow. Yeah, okay. Anyways, let's move on. Look at my chat, there's no constructive talks here. That's not true. We just had a guy that talked about the base 2 thing, and I was like, you're right. Being logical or being too emotional can affect how one perceives the truth. And then I was like, even though originally that wasn't our hypothetical, I went back and revisited it. Which was given by that guy with the purple name with 2 numbers in his name. So, are blunt and brutal honest 2 different things about native speakers? It's a little different. Like, it's different, but it's like very nuanced. Because there's like a kind of like a pop culture thing where people will call themselves, I'm not mean, I'm just brutally honest, or people will self-label themselves being brutally honest, but those types of people that tend to be very upfront about labeling themselves as brutally honest tend to be more fixated on the brutal part. So they'll say, for example, if you dyed your hair green, they would say, I don't like green, that's such an ugly color. Instead of realizing that it's not very socially acceptable to be like, hey, no, it's not the same guy. They realize like it's not socially acceptable to tell your friend that you fucking hate green after she just dyed her hair green. But then the person who calls themselves brutally honest would be like, yeah, sorry, I'm just a bitch. I'm just brutally honest. Like that, like you're socially inept. That's what it is. But then someone who is blunt might would be more emotionally smarter, because I don't think being blunt necessarily means you're brutally honest, but there can be some like discrepancy, because in this hypothetical we're specifically assuming that the people on the higher end of emotional intelligence that are logical and different are blunt. They're not the brutally honest type. That if this girl dyed her hair green and this person didn't like the color green and they ask them, hey, what do you think? They might say, oh, I don't think I would ever dye my hair green, but I think it looks nice on you, and if you like it, that's good. Like that. It's the difference in emotional intelligence, because being blunt isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the red flag is somebody who calls themselves brutally honest, because the people that say that tend to be kind of more they just like being brutal. Yeah, they like the brutal part. Basically, you can be blunt, but you shouldn't call yourself brutally honest. Sorry, I have no filter, but Becky, I think your new engagement ring is really fucking ugly, and your fiance got you that. I can't believe it. Like, he should have gotten you something better. And you're telling this to your friend, by the way. Like, that is not on the okay end of being blunt. That's just being a bitch? Yeah, it goes hand in hand with people go like, I'm a bitch. Or I'm a brutally honest bitch. That woman asked for your opinion for a reinforcement, not for your opinion. No, that's not true. It depends. That's the social dance. Because if you ever actually had, like, girl relationships, platonic or romantic, and they went dress shopping and they asked you how it looks, yeah, they probably wanted you to tell them that they're quad boobing, or their panty line is visible. Why is that brutally actively knowingly don't care how they were saying taken? But I mean, the point is that there's a level of emotional intelligence that's necessary for navigating social situations in order to be brutally honest and get away with it. Yeah, like it's okay to be brutally honest, but it depends a lot on when and where, but the conversation is more so like, why is there such a common trope among people that are like to say that they're brutally honest and they're just fucking assholes, basically? Like, to friends. And I have to say that just to let you know that this is not a streamer relationship thing. Like, you probably shouldn't tell the bride on her wedding day that she looks fat as fuck in her wedding dress. And then say, oh, I'm just brutally honest, sorry. Like... Yeah, and then be like, I'm just being real. It's like, no. Be careful of people who say they're kind and sweet. Be careful about people that say they're a good person. Good people do not ever say that they're good people. That's also weird. That's weird as fuck. Like, specifically good. Like saying, I'm a good person. I have found that to be more of a red flag. You tell them you're either good or awful and they have to find out. See, now that's okay, because that's just that's just you making use of open world. Yeah. You're just having fun with the NPCs in your world. Neil Gaiman? That does sound familiar. Don't read that one, it's worse than true crime. Neil Gaiman? Oh. Lord. Well, I got some books that arrived. Probably gonna read them when I go cat sitting. Yeah, I'm cat sitting for a friend. Kitty. Remember to take pictures of them? I'll take the pictures of them. I will rub my eyes ferociously. Oh yeah, also I watched some clips of the Jake Paul fight, and the guy literally was like when he saw the opening on his face and went for it. And then I saw people were like, good luck Jake Paul, now fight the second part of the battle, not getting addicted to painkillers. And then everybody was laughing at him. Yeah, his jaw fractured in 2 places. He looked terrified when he was cornered. Yeah, that guy, did he accept the fight because of his ego or something? Did he like really think he was going to win? It was $80 million? He couldn't have made 80 mil off of another person? He beat Mike Tyson? Yeah, because that was fucking elder abuse, dude. That guy's like 80 years old. I think I'm just gonna climb some rocks, honestly. Did I finish Beaded Tie? I did. Well, I think I have to fix it a little bit. Some fell out. But I need to... because I don't have the crafting materials my friends do. How do you help a socially awkward friend become less socially awkward and shy? I mean, I guess I should be asking myself that because I used to be really shy. Take them outside? Yeah, like... Okay, it's time for enrichment. Come with me. Yeah, that's what I think. It's time to touch grass. Public speaking is so easy. Making phone calls is so easy. Yeah, I'm fucking bragging. That's what school of college is for? Yeah, that's why a lot of people, when a young person gets admitted into university at like the age of 13 or whatever, people are very concerned for their social development because they end up getting like put in a room of young adults. And it's very weird. Very important to be around your peers of a similar age growing up. How to become less socially awkward? Well, you just kind of have, well, you have to go out and experience things. Signing up for speed dating as full-on exposure therapy? That would be terrifying. Speed dating with social anxiety. I think a lot of them would probably rather kill themselves. Just straight up. Well, I got over my public speaking and social anxiety and just like talking with strangers when I realized that I am that bitch. And it was really easy to make people laugh, even if I wasn't meaning to. When it came to like doing presentations in school, like people were just laughing. I had jokes. Use Twitch as a dating site, yeah. Like that one lady in some like Twitch promo video was like, what if Twitch could be something more? What if it could be like a dating site? Girl. I reset the people I was hanging out to. Yeah, but I feel like that's like next level. That's like later. With the Roblox CEO, has he wanted Roblox dating? Yeah. I mean, executives just fucking say shit. Like Elon Musk going like, imagine if X was the everything app. You could use it for banking. You could use it for crypto. You could use it as social media, email, your fridge. I don't fucking know. Does Roblox have an issue with old guys dating kids on it? Anything that is marketed towards kids has an issue with old people trying to date kids. No, I don't think we should nuke San Francisco. I don't think that's a good idea. Let's not do that. Let's reconsider our options. Neopets didn't have that problem because you could interact but not talk. Yeah, they had Neomail, and the only Neomail I got was from a very disgruntled adult when I rage quit a Key Quest game because I got second and I wanted to get first, and they're like, well, you quit, now neither of us get the rewards, and if you didn't quit, you at least get some reward. And they said if I did it again, they were gonna report me. Gulp. Did I do it again? No, because I found out that you could just grind on 2 accounts by opening a different browser. So I had a second account, and then I would get both the first place and second place rewards, and then I would put it in my shop and sell them both. And I made so much money. A hustler. A hustler from a young age. Meat pit. I'm very excited for Cobblemon. Probably just gonna do my own thing though. When is it? In January-ish? Is it just Cobblemon just a week? Well, they apparently were gonna add a bunch more things so that it lasts longer, but we'll see how that actually goes. You never know. No more loot-based gaming, yeah. I thought it would be fun to offer whoever wins tournaments like rugs or art or something. But then only if I like the person. Well, not that if I don't make it, it doesn't mean I don't like them. It just means I just don't necessarily go out of my way to like them. This is the blunt part. Have I been rugging off stream? Not as much as I would like. Following up everything I say, this is the blunt part, yeah. Rug giveaway only to people I like, yeah. And art. I think my bluntness would be such a problem if I was a man. I think actually it would be way less of a problem because there's a lot of girls that are afraid of me. And I'm like, I don't know why you're afraid. I didn't, like, actually do anything other than the fact that you were just very intimidated. But if I was a guy, would they care? No. I don't think they would, personally. But that's why I really like Hoon. And Huge. And Julia and them, because they don't feel that type of, like, pussification. Like, they're just like, yeah, I just think she's chill, you know? Like, some girl thought I hated her, and I was like, I don't even know why you thought that. I literally haven't even thought about you. What the fuck are you smoking? Some people are just like smoking crack or something. I don't know. I don't know. I genuinely don't get it, but like, okay. Some people just fight invisible ops, I guess. Fighting some demons. I mean, I've said this before. I think some people just think about themselves a little too much. It's really not that big of a deal. Just let things go. A classmate confronted you for having aggressive body language? What is that? Did you, like, spread your pussy in front of them? What the fuck does that mean? Mario pussy? Were you break dancing in class? They kept doing that one dress to impress pose, yeah. Mario pussy attack. I think if people weren't pussies, the world would be an easier place. But that's why people have so many issues, isn't it? Pussification. That's what it is. Pussification. A lot of people think the world would be a better place if everyone was nice to each other. Well, it's too broad of a statement. And people are too complex. Then you have the paradox of, tolerance. But then, I mean, some people also think that if you're not bending over backwards for them, you're not nice. Or like, if you don't give them a shit sandwich, you're not nice, you know? Yeah, some people just have very different definitions of nice. I mean, I don't know if a shit sandwich is the best way to. I guess it's more like a sandwich with a little bit of poop in it. I don't know. It's like the thing that I talk about when it comes to gamers' opinions lacking opinion permanence. You have to say 5 nice things before you say like 1 criticism. And if you don't do that, they think you're an asshole. Obviously, assuming that the message you're sending isn't, hey, fuck you, you're a bitch. A planet with pure logic would have no art. Which makes me... I think that makes me a very contradictory person to begin with. Or a very paradoxal. I wish I grew up differently. I mean, out of a purely curious point of view, would my brain have developed differently? Would Robert be alive? Would I learn what it means to be emotional? To be ruled by emotion? Deep thoughts with the deep. Ontologically? What does that mean? Ontologically. What it means to exist. Oh. What if I never became a streamer? Then I probably have significantly less money. Everyone is emotional. People who say they are not are liars. Yeah, you're that fucking stupid guy from earlier. Everything you have said has been consistently stupid. I'm not gonna explain why it's stupid though, because I want everybody to laugh at you. Julia! You're a girl. I don't give a shit if you're a girl, guy, they, them. I'm just using it like I don't give a shit. You think I give a fuck? I just say guy, because I don't know. I don't care. It's just a general term. You're a bisexual Starbucks barista? Prove it. Lamau insufferable? But you're still here. I'll now be after, because we've all laughed at this person, I'll explain why they said what they said was really stupid. No shit. That's it. No fucking shit. That was why. That's all. Do I want this purple? I like this. I do like this. Fill you on what happened? Person says something dumb. I call them dumb. They didn't like that I called them dumb. Said that chat interactions are the same as social interactions. Gets called dumb again. And then stays for like the entire past hour at least of the stream. Gets called dumb some more because they keep participating in chat and showing off their dumbness. Gets more upset. Are streamers bad at managing their money on average? On average? So like the average 50 viewer streamer? Actually like the average 20 viewer streamer? What money? Okay, yeah, maybe like 3 viewers. Unless you mean like, are rich streamers bad at managing their money? I don't fucking know. I don't go around and ask people how much money's in their bank account or how their portfolio is doing. I don't know. When you sure if you weren't below average? No. You're up. I don't know how most people manage their money. I don't ask. Or care. Who the fuck does? I don't know, dude. Sometimes sometimes some streamers just go like, yo, just bought a new car, yo, just bought a new watch, yo, just bought a new house, yo, look at my bank account, yo, this sponsor, yo, that sponsor, yo, this house, yo, that house. Yo, just renovated my marbled tub. You know, I don't fucking know. I don't really hang around people that do that. Attention whore. See, I don't ban people for being stupid. I ban them for being an attention whore. After a certain point, it's not, like, it's just not interesting anymore. I don't like when somebody, like, tries to make themselves some kind of reoccurring character thing. I'd like to redirect those kinds of people to small streams. Yeah, people that try to like cultivate a one-on-one chat with the streamer, ew. Fucking weird and creepy. I don't like that. Very creepy. You are so right. Thanks for letting me know. I'm gonna ban you because I don't like that you typed in full sentences with proper punctuation and capitalization. You know, it's like those villains in the movies when they randomly shoot a person just to be like, see, cause I'm evil. Why'd you kill that henchman? Cause I'm evil. And when I don't wash my hands. How long do you need to know somebody before you start taking fat shits around them, like explosively loud? I'm talking like 500 dB. $5 days? Like 5 days of hanging out? If you hit already, it's okay. Are they in the bathroom with you? No, but they can just hear you. I need to know because I kind of have like stomach and digestion issues. And I'm trying to just consider if it's appropriate. Why are your shits breaking the sound barrier? Cause I have IBS. If they love you, they'll let you shit. Oh, whoa. So you gotta be in the I love you phase? Oh, jeez. Oh, Lord. How do I shade this current scene? I just fucking make shit up. Hope that helps. Yeah, I do this thing when I'm at friends and I have a lot of gas is I go to the toilet a lot and then I have to spread my ass cheeks to let the air out as I literally feel my stomach deflate because the gas buildup starts to hurt, the pressure buildup. And then I want to make sure that there's no like reverberation. So you kind of have to let it and it feels amazing. It's letting all the gas go. You let your cheeks clap? Wow. Well, I learned how to play mahjong. I'm really excited about it because it was really fun. And I hope to play more of it in the future. Is it hard? No. I think the only thing I'm kind of confused about is if you when you have a set of 4, I forgot exactly what you have to do. Dude, auto-setting mahjong tables, that'd be fucking heat. I need a bunch of like auntie-ass friends to play mahjong with. That's what I need. Make all my girlfriends play mahjong. There's a club in my city to hit up, a mahjong club? I gotta go back to church, I've been so busy. And then I'm gonna go rock climbing next week. And then I gotta catch up on some rugs. You wanna learn mahjong, Julia? We gotta get a physical set and a table. Time to start a mahjong parlor. What grade do I have? Oh, I haven't gone back since that stream. Make sure my blood sugar is good. Yeah, I will not make that mistake again. Where do you find a mahjong parlor? Chinatown? Why does drinking matcha before climbing help? You don't find when it finds you? I hope some fucking mahjong parlor finds me, bruh. I hope it fucking finds me, my boy. I think I'm gonna be a hermit for the next 2 weeks. I fucking lied because I said I was gonna go rock climbing next week. I am also not crazy about matcha. I think it's just it's aight. I just need to catch up on my art stuff. Does real life mahjong have actual gambling? Well, when I was a kid and I watched my aunties and uncles play mahjong, they had some money. It's like 20 bucks. $5. Oh, I just remembered a conversation where somebody was very incorrect about something and said it like they were not incorrect. Wrong! Wrong! People do that all the time. They do. Because it usually means that they already had a certain, if they have that feeling, it's because it's like confirmation bias revalidating what they thought was the truth. Yeah. Yeah, they already have thought a certain way. That's why they're like, well, this is because of this. It's like, actually, no, that's not what happened. Yippee. Kinda had to rush this one because I have, what is it, 3 drawings to catch up on? Technically after this 2 more, but then tomorrow is another +1. Damn. Then fell behind. Well, I knew I wasn't gonna be home for a few days. Because I was hanging out with some friends. And does Hyun draw along with me? Hyun can do whatever she wants. Thanks, little bean. I don't care. This month is going by so fast, yeah. I should ponder Bora Bora again. Because I really want to go scuba diving. Scuba diving, scuba diving, scuba diving. Yeah, but I got the Repel 100 mosquito spray that works super duper well. Put it, I just gotta spray it on my face. Oh god, no, it smells so bad. But that was just purely so unlucky. What does it smell like? Very strong chemically. It smelled very strong. Wasn't that strong when you use it? Repel 100? I mean, it definitely has a stank to it, but also it's so sweaty, in French Polynesia that I don't, like, I'm splashing my face with water so often that it's just gonna get scraped off, you know? Rinsed off. Yeah, bug repellent and sunscreen. Favorite fruit from Bora Bora? Their vanilla ice cream. It's because they export vanilla. The vanilla that I had on Bora Bora is unlike any vanilla ice cream I have ever had in the world. It is the most divine vanilla I have ever vanillaed in my life. But also Polynesian food's really good. French Polynesian food. What was my favorite? There was, I forgot what it was called, but there was this thing with coconut and sashimi in a bowl, and they had it at breakfast. That was good. I forgot what it's called though. Yeah. Oh, they did not have mango sushi. Mango I don't like mango sushi. I'm good. Okay, good enough. I at least did something today. Oh shit, they want to be... I forgot something. Okay, pretend this is the beginning of the stream. For this drawing, for today's daily drawing, I wanted to do Altaria because Altaria is one of my favorite Pokemons, and I think Altaria is very cute and fluffy, so I put them in the clouds. I mean, I like really dumb looking Pokemon. How do I have more empathy for stupid people? Genuine question. Is it because it's because I have to consider them emotionally, right? And have more empathy for them emotionally? The stupidity has to come from somewhere. Why am I so like, why does like stupidity annoy me so much? Like, I'm talking about like the people that insist 1 + 1 is 5, and you're like, it's 2. Should I turn it into pity? Just agree with them? It's annoying. Yeah, but you're gonna come across people in your life that's like, let's say you're a boss or something, and you can't just be like, yo, you're fucking dumb. You'll get in trouble. It's so easy not to be stupid, but I mean, imagine your whole life you're told that 1 + 1 is 5. You're gonna think 1 + 1 is 5. But I think the frustration is like, if you showed it to them, and then they continue to insist it's 5, then it's even more frustrating. Thanks, Jeanette. I pulled a nib out. Because I don't think stupid people think they're stupid. Don't say you're fucking wrong, you fucking idiot. Instead, say interesting. This is how I see it. Alright, noted. You're saying that your husband didn't cheat on you. However, I did see another woman's car parked outside his house when you were working, and I saw the silhouette of doggy style happening in the window. No, I didn't actually see that it was your husband, but there was nobody else in the house. And I knew that Brenda was driving that car. But he didn't cheat? That wasn't him? His car was also in the driveway. Listen, this is how I see it. I think it's very reasonable to assume that your husband did cheat on you. No, I wasn't in the house. What's that? Brenda wouldn't do that? Then why was Brenda's car parked outside your house, and when you asked her if she visited lately, she said no? But I saw her car. Why would Brenda lie about not being in your house? You also found Brenda's hairpin on your couch. How could it have gone there then? Think! I just can't! Well, here's how I see it. I think her hairpin was there, and the fact that she was parked at your house and your husband was at home while you were at work, and they both lied about her being there, is very suspicious. Did I do good? Was that a good, like, I didn't call her stupid. Did I do good? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go apologize to my friend. I didn't call them stupid, but I was like, I think your friend is dumb. Which was mean. Okay, I'll admit it was mean. But I was like not trying to be brutal. I was like, how can you see these things and not come to this conclusion? It's very reasonable. I'll go apologize. Why would I say that? Because I saw the car parked outside. The hairpin was there. They lied about being in the house. The silhouette of the doggy style. Your husband's still not cheating on you? Are you stupid? You know? So I called him stupid. Maybe he's just training for- yeah, maybe he's just training. What's going on in there? Looking. Also, Brenda herself told me that you said Jordan who told her that you were talking about my pussy being stinky, so I concluded that instead of having an honest talk with you about it and see your side story, I decided to halt our communication and ghost you. Yeah, because pussies stink. Okay, maybe they were both trying to assemble IKEA furniture, and as they were assembling IKEA furniture, Brenda hit her head on something and dropped her hairpin. But that doesn't explain why did they lie about not being at your house. If they were assembling furniture, wouldn't they just tell you they're assembling furniture? Oh, it was because it's a Christmas present, surprise present? But he told me he didn't get you a Christmas present. Because he doesn't like you. But then if it was Christmas present, why wasn't it wrapped? Oh, he loves joking like that? Also, why does Brenda's 2-year-old kid look like your husband? Also, do you remember when Brenda would say that your husband was a yummy piece of meat? No, she's just joking around because she's like that. She was just being nice. Remember when Brenda told you to add more pineapple to his diet? Remember when you told Brenda about how your husband complimented the specific pair of underwear you had, and then Brenda was wearing the exact same pair when we were at the gym together? When she was changing? And she said she just happened to also have that set? I'm starting to think Brenda and my husband are up to no good. And then remember that time you found an unknown woman's underwear in the wash? That wasn't yours? Oh, he was just doing laundry for Brenda because Brenda's water broke. Things wash up on beaches all the time. Why should the bathtub be different? What about that time your husband and Brenda went on a friends trip together with Brenda's friend group, and they apparently, according to the other friends, they shared a room together when there were plenty of other rooms and spare beds. Oh, it was just a friend camping trip? But there were spare beds. They're saving money, but they already paid for the cabin. Thanks, Mr. He. I'm starting to think he's cheating on Brenda with me, yeah. Can't even share a bed? That people think you're fucking unbelievable. What about that one time when I showed up to Brenda's house to drop off a birthday surprise cake, and you walked out of her shower with only a towel wrapped around? Or your husband walked out of her shower with only a towel wrapped around his waist. Oh. Oh, your husband shot himself that day, but why was he at Brenda's house? He shit himself and her place was closer. I'm starting to think you're the side piece here, not Brenda. Thanks, Flare Pack Manny. Why does your Brenda why does your husband's mouth smells like Brenda's pussy? Remember when you went to the BPTT and when it was Brenda, you guessed your husband? That was a good one. Okay, I don't think I have anything else to add. And then I have 3 to catch up on tomorrow. God damn. This one was kind of lazy, I'm not gonna lie. Is Brenda okay? Brenda's been doing great. She's been posting all these cute dates that she's been going on, but she won't tell me who it is, and she never shows the guy.
We are ending our transmission.